Welcome to the Sheila C. Hill Show. And listen, that C stands for come on in this room and have a sit down so we can chat for just a little while. Listen, this show is the ultimate go-to podcast for ambitious individuals who want to live a more fulfilling and successful life to gain valuable insights and expert tips and inspiring stories that you're going to hear to help you improve your lifestyle, grow your business, and enhance your emotional well-being. Now, in every episode, you're going to gain practical tips and insightful wisdom in the company of a supportive community of like-minded individuals, which I call Sheila's Thrive Tribe. Yes, you heard it. But now, if you're new to the show, please let me welcome you. I am your host, Sheila C. Hill, and I would like to say hello, hola, bonjour, como está, ni hao, howdy, and what's up, y'all? I want you to come on in, take a seat, subscribe, follow, and share. So by subscribing, you become a part of Sheila's Thrive Tribe, which is a gathering of like-minded individuals that are fully connected and dedicated to growth, achieving. Welcome to the Sheila C. Hill Show. And listen, that C stands for come on in this room and have a sit down so we can. Welcome to the Sheila C. Hill Show. And listen, that C stands for come on in this room and have a sit down so we can chat for just a little while. Listen, this show is the ultimate go-to podcast for ambitious individuals who want to live a more fulfilling and successful life to gain valuable insights and expert tips and inspiring stories that you're going to hear to help you improve your lifestyle, grow your business, and enhance your emotional well-being. Now, in every episode, you're going to gain practical tips and insightful wisdom in the company of a supportive community of like-minded individuals, which I call Sheila's Thrive Tribe. Yes, you heard it. But now, if you're new to the show, please let me welcome you. I am your host, Sheila C. Hill, and I would like to say hello, hola, bonjour, como está, ni hao, howdy, and what's up, y'all? I want you to come on in, take a seat, subscribe, follow, and share. So by subscribing, you become a part of Sheila's Thrive Tribe, which is a gathering of like-minded individuals that are fully connected and dedicated to growth, achieving business success, and having the best times of their life while living the best lives, okay? Now, July is National Mental Health Awareness Month to bring awareness to the unique struggles that racial and ethnic minority communities face regarding mental health illnesses in the United States. Now, mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It affects how we think, how we feel and act, and it determines how we handle stress, relate to others, and make choices. Now, racial and ethnic minorities often suffer from poor mental health outcomes due to multiple factors, which include lack of access to quality mental health care services, culture stigma surrounding mental health care, discrimination, and overall lack of awareness about mental health. Now, per the United States Department of Health and Human Services, they found that in 2021, The percentage of treated adults, that's the key word, treated adults with any mental illness differed among various racial and ethnic groups. Specifically, it was estimated that 39% of Black or African American adults, 25% of Asian adults, and 36% of Hispanic Latino adults received treatment. So remember, that's 39, 25, and 36. Now, in comparison to a higher proportion of 52% of non Hispanic white adults receive treatment for mental health illnesses. So you see the gap there and the disparity there. So our topic today can closely relate to mental health and mental health illnesses. Listen, I hope you're ready for this, because get your seatbelt on, because our topic today is the mad Black woman syndrome. Yes. Listen, this is not an official recognized medical or psychological term, but instead it's a familiar expression that's used in society today to describe the emotional and mental struggles experienced by some African American women due to the intersection of gender, race, and social expectations. Now, this term highlights the pressure on Black women to uphold a strong, resilient, and emotional-less persona. You hear me? Emotional-less persona, often at the expense of their mental and emotional well-being. Now, it can stem from historical and systematic racism, which has led to stereotypes and unfair expectations on Black women to be strong, in the face of adversity while suppressing their vulnerability and their emotions. Okay? Now, today we aim to challenge the misconceptions and understand the impact it has on the lives of African American women. Joining us today is a remarkable panel of guests who will share their experiences, their insights, and just their story. So I want you to get ready for a wonderful show and get ready to welcome our guests.
I can't hear you.
To the show. Introduce yourself, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Kimberly Grice. I am from North Carolina. I am a awesome, talented, your go-to real estate agent here in North Carolina. I am also the co-founder and partner of a real estate wholesaling company called Grand Dame Holdings. I am a mom. I'm an advocate. I'm an entrepreneur, and I am super excited to be here.
Awesome. Welcome. All right, our next panel guest.
Hello, my name is Phoenix. I'm currently in the St.
Phoenix?
Louis area. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello, my name is Phoenix. I'm currently in the St. Louis area. I am a highly skilled IT and cybersecurity professional. I'm also an IT program and project management consultant. I travel extensively because that's what I love to do.
Awesome. Oh, okay. I hear you. All right, our next guest.
Hello. How everybody doing today? I am
Miss
Tammy
Rainey.
Rainey. I'm currently residing in Houston, Texas. I um I am a travel notary, loan signing agent, an ordained minister, podcast host, and I'm an awesome mom and grandmother.
I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, and our next guest, we have Miss Brandy. Introduce yourself, please.
Hi, my name is Brandy Williams. I'm currently in Texas and I am a mother of two. And I also take care of my little sister. I am an EMT and I also write. I love poetry and I'm a vacation Bible school teacher and I also teach Sunday school and I love children.
Okay, awesome. Welcome to the show. And we have our last panelist today. If you can introduce yourself, ma'am.
Hi, everyone. My name is Shonda Stovall. I currently reside in Augusta, Georgia. I'm a licensed massage therapist and connections coach. I'm also the vice president of our local board of education and sit on many boards, and I'm a licensed minister as well.
Oh, what we about to have some church up in here. We got some ministers. I mean, we got what we need. I can sing. Let me get my tambourine, okay? Because this topic, we about to take it to the king. We're cameraman, take it to the king. Okay. All right. So listen, this is just the girlfriends. We just talking and we want to talk about this subject. That is, listen, I know most people have seen, I know most we have seen or heard of Tyler Perry's show, The Diary of a Mad Black Woman. Okay. So a lot of times society shows the African American woman in a light that we're always angry, we always have an attitude. So, can you all share your personal experiences with this angry Black woman syndrome? This basically stereotype and how it impacted your life. Do you have a personal story experience that you can share?
Yeah, is it okay if I go?
Anyone?
So
Go ahead. Yes.
yeah, I think honestly, we all have had a point in our life where we've been the angry Black woman. I know for me personally, I was the angry Black woman. When you're dealing with stuff in society, the unspoken pressures and even the blatant pressures that we have to have it all, do it all, fix it all, be everyone to everything, everything to everyone, accept ourselves. Sometimes you're mad. And then when you put in your environment, your experiences, your life, sometimes you are the angry Black woman. Like people who know me now,
Mm.
they would not expect that from me. I'm always smiling, laughing, joking. That is my life. I've always had the gift and the ability to find humor in almost everything. Not because I wanted to dispel that myth, but for me, it just made my body feel better. It feels good to laugh. But I know for me, I was raped and molested. Um, from the ages of 9 to 12. I was raped at 17. I'm supposed to be mad. I was left unprotected. Even the people that could protect me, that was supposed to protect me, they couldn't protect me. I was supposed to be mad about that. I wasn't an angry Black woman. I was an angry Black child. And I was an angry Black girl until I had to learn to deal with that. It affected my relationships with family and friends. It affected my responses to people on my job, and not just to men, but to misogyny, because women can perpetuate misogyny and patriarchy. Nothing's wrong with it when it's done correctly, especially patriarchy, but we sometimes respond to things based on our experiences. But when we heal and those things are still loaded upon us, when people expect us not to have responses to things that are actually happening, that's when you get labeled with the stereotype of
Mm.
being the loud, of being the ratchet or the ghetto,
Mm.
especially with people who don't know you, who automatically default to that. Um, I laugh, and laughter, my laughter is loud because I'm going to enjoy my laugh. And I had someone at my local board just jokingly, not even realizing when they asked, I bet you when you get angry, you scream loud too. And it's just, well, why would you assume that? Because my laughter is loud. Actually, when I get angry, I get quiet. When I get angry, I revert into myself because I know I can lash out at people. And so I protect myself, not necessarily protect others. I protect myself from that. So it works both ways. Yes, we can absolutely be angry Black women, but nobody's born angry. Our human default is not to be born angry. I
Oh,
always,
come
when I
on.
do come across those angry Black women, I always stop to wonder why. Why is sis so angry? What's going on in her life? What has happened that she hasn't healed
Yeah.
from that still has her in that way?
Come on, come on. You speaking it now. You see, you covering almost everything so far, sis. I mean, there's the stereotype, and then there's the actuality of mad Black women. So let's go into the other experiences that you may have, ladies, and we'll go further because this is real talk. This is real talk with real people, and I love it. So, and thank you for sharing your story, Shonda. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Being transparent and showing the people that, hey, you can be in a situation, but you can come out it. You have control as well. So thank you for sharing that. All right, who else has want to share your experiences that you may have experienced?
I'll share something.
Nobody talk.
Okay.
Okay, Phoenix.
So mine isn't a personal experience, but it's really just kind of a picture or a depiction of how I can relate this, right? So back in the day, let's go back to slavery when we were, the Black women were working in the homes or even in the fields or whatever, and anything could be done to them. And they had to have a stoic expression. They couldn't react. They couldn't respond. They couldn't do anything, regardless of how poorly they were being treated. They could have been being abused in the moment and still couldn't react. They had to, in order to save their own lives sometimes, or to save the situation or someone else that may be impacted at the moment, they had to carry this stoic behavior and face and just get through it and get through the moment. Now, if you fast forward that exact scenario to the corporate world, we're doing the same thing. I feel like on a regular basis, I'm sitting in a room of all white men, and when anything happens, regardless of if they say something that's blatantly racist or just overtly disrespectful, I'm supposed to keep that same stoic behavior and act as if it didn't happen and find a way to maneuver through the moment. And or it may affect one of my colleagues, another Black person in the room, or another woman in the room, and you can't react because then it's they can't have the mindset of engineers or managers or whatever, and we have to basically continue to have this behavior that's acceptable in the boardroom or in corporate America, and that becomes, and then we have to take that home, right? Then you go home with that, everything that you had to bottle up all day and had to deal with all day, and I've sat in a meeting and somebody has asked me to get coffee. What I look like? Who?
Oh my!
Did you? Is Uber coming? Because I'm not. That ain't what I do here. So it's one of
Okay.
those things. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things. And in the moment, we aren't supposed to react a certain way. We have to think through. We always have to be that step ahead to think through our response so that we're not misread or put in a position where we're sent out or sent away or excused from the meeting or whatever, right? And those things happen to us all day, every day, and you have to kind of. It's almost like you never get to an opportunity not to be on your toes so that you don't misreact or put yourself in a situation or a colleague in a situation simply because you responded to something blatantly disrespectful in a room full of people.
Come on, say that. That is so true. Now, to have it in the workplace, before I go to the workplace, anyone want to share their personal experience or have something to say on that?
I will.
Okay, so okay, go ahead, Tamu.
I would like to, speak on the angry Black woman with parenting. First of all, where it's like, you're innocent before proven guilty. That doesn't happen with the Black women. You're literally an angry Black woman and you have to prove that you're not. And with experiences when it comes to parenting. There's no book on parenting. I mean, a lot of us need parenting classes. A lot of us just start having children. And when we start having children, what we do is we forget about self-preservation. We instantly, when we start having children, we put everything into these children, and we're expected to put everything into these children, and we do it. We do not even think about ourselves. We don't put anything into us. Even giving birth, we go through death to give birth, and we just give, give, give. Now it goes on to, some of us are teenage parents. I was a teenage parent. I had 2 children by the time I was 18 years old. And by the time I was 18 years old, I had 2 children by a man that I was in a relationship, and the relationship was no longer there. And what happened? He stopped taking care of his children. So at that point, yes, I'm angry. How do I do this? How do I figure this out? And they put, it's like society puts this on you to where you're supposed to know. You're supposed to know how to take care of the children. Okay, even if the father's not there, you're supposed to do this on your own, and you're supposed to do it well. You're supposed to go with sleepless nights. You're still supposed to work, right? You're supposed to deal with postpartum depression. You're supposed to deal with all different types of issues that you could have. A lot of us have a lot of mental health issues that are hereditary, and we don't know that that's going on with us. So we're just supposed to go day by day by day, and we're supposed to take care of these children. And not all women are left, with one parent household, but a lot of us are. And so we're angry, because we don't know how to deal with this. We people just feel that we're supposed to know how. And are we really? We're supposed to learn self-preservation in order to be able to take care of these children. If we don't take care of us, how are we taking care of them properly? We're not. A lot of our children are not being breastfed, so we're not giving proper nutrition. We don't know how. Certain things are being forced upon us. Then birth control, that is a chemical imbalance on us. We don't know how, and we don't understand that a lot of these things that are put on us are too much. And then what do? It is a protection thing. We are responding, and we're putting a wall up. Instead of barriers, we put a wall up, and then we become angry and we lash out at everybody. And guess who takes all that anger? Those children. We at work being mistreated. We get in relationships, we being mistreated. Yeah. We don't know how to parent properly. We come home, and now these babies want some attention. Some babies need more attention than others. You know what I'm saying? We don't know nutrition. We're buying them hot Cheetos, noodles. We don't understand that they need fruit, vegetables. We don't understand. They're telling us, oh, feed them bread and feed them. And Black people can't drink milk. We're not even supposed to be eating certain things that they're telling us that are okay. So now our babies are running around. They
You talking right. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And then society and the media is talking about us. Oh, they're angry. Oh, they should be able to do this. Oh, and then they perpetuate. Oh, strong. You got to be strong. No, we weak. We not strong. We need a village. We need grandparents. Some of us don't have those. We need aunts. We need uncles. We need fathers. We need, you know what I'm saying? A lot of us didn't come up with fathers. So how we know what a man is? So we can't teach our sons how to be men. So now we mad because we don't even know what to do. So anger comes with, we're putting ourselves through a lot of things that we don't even understand we're going through. We just trying to get through the day, every day. We trying to cater to the children, cater to these jobs, get education. They put education on us. Oh, you're supposed to have these accolades. And a lot of women, they which is crazy because those professors put people through so much. That's even more stress. And then you wonder why you don't get no sleep. You're sleep deprived. And people act, oh, you'll be fine. You're supposed
It's a domino effect.
It's a
So
domino
my
effect.
question to everybody is, when do we get to have a bad
Yeah,
day?
you should post.
When
We're
do
not
we
supposed
get to have a bad day? When is it acceptable? When is it okay for us to have a bad day? You know what I'm
Woo,
saying?
come
When can
on.
that be a valid response that I'm having a bad day? You know, like now my kids are old. I got grown kids, right? And now I can tell them I'm having a bad
We
mental health
don't.
day. And
But-
they know
I mean,
that that's the day to leave me alone. Give me a minute and I'll be right back. You know what I'm saying? But when they were growing up, there was no opportunity for me to say that. And they didn't understand
Yeah.
what that meant, right? Now they're grown, I can have that conversation, and they know that if I say I'm having a bad mental health day, that means FaceTime me in a little bit. I'll hit you later, sir, because I can't. But and whatever it is, they know that I'll return and come back with my usual energy or whatever. But when is it acceptable for us to say that we're having a bad day? When you're at work, when you're at in school, when you're dealing with your children, when is it acceptable for a Black woman to say I am having a bad day?
We're not supposed to.
Can I share
not-
something with that? And I think sometimes I don't know, my experiences are a little bit different from others. I've been an entrepreneur all my life. I'm 45. I just knew working for somebody else wasn't for me because I got a mouth on me. And I learned real young with my parents that my mom used to say to me when I was a kid, your mouth is going to be the death of you. And my dad was pro-Black, and he made sure he taught us history of this country. We were a military family, so we moved around a lot. I 4 elementary schools, 1 middle school, 3 high schools. Like, we moved. And so I got to see different cultures and different things. And I remember my dad gave me the freedom to speak, right? Like in our house, in my parents' divorce, in our house. And I noticed the difference between my mom's house and my dad's house. In my dad's house, I could question everything and question anything. And my dad said, you have the right to do that, within respect to my parents. With my mom was a because I said so parent, because like the young lady mentioned, she was tired. She was absolutely tired. And my mom, I used to always joke with my mom that she was an undercover Jamaican, because my mom was a police officer. My mom was a nurse. My mom was this. My mom was that. At some point, and I think in every point in my life, my mom had 2 to 3 jobs, but she was married to my stepfather. Whereas my father taught from the perspective of his version of manhood and his life of what he wanted. I have 3 daughters. I have 3 daughters and a 12-year-old son. We absolutely teach our kids, and I get this often when I speak up. I don't want there to ever be a misconception of someone's able to do something to me and I let it slide, especially if it's something that's an infraction that I know crosses boundaries. To the young lady that said, when are we ever able to have a bad day? I tell my daughters, any day that you're having a bad day, speak up, because we have to break that stigma. We have to break that cycle that we have to be strong all the time. I homeschooled my kids, and they had the ability to say, Mom, I'm just not with it today. I can't focus. Or even if I saw it, I'm like, you know what? We can come back to this today. Our schools program our kids to go, memorize, regurgitate, because you got to work. I teach my kids, you got to live. You got to live. Nobody on their deathbed asks for more money. They ask for more time. They ask for more time. And I've seen so many Black women, even while we're sick, that I got to get this, I got to get that, I got to get this. Make sure, even if they delegate through other people, make sure. And I tell my clients all the time, and I always tell even my coaching clients, if you die today or tomorrow, tell me 3 things that would absolutely stop because you're not here. 3 things that will stop, no longer cease to exist. They will no longer do it anymore. And most people can't even think of one thing. If you own a business, sure, your business may stop. But if you set it up right, anybody can pick it up and keep it going. There are very few things. Dishes are going to always be washed. May not be washed like the way you want them to be washed, but they're going to be washed. They're going to survive and live, and people are going to keep on living. And I
Yes.
challenge the young women in my circle, and I challenge even my sisters, my friends. Why go so hard? What are we proving now? We're intelligent, we're smart. You know, my sister served 20 years in the military. Military beat her body up until I did 8.5, and that's all they get from me because I want the rest of my life to be as healthy as possible. My sister has her own business. Even while sick, she still feels that she got to get up and move and do. It's expected of us. And I'm like, Kim, no, it's not. What's expected is for you to be whole and healthy. And problem starts with we don't expect it from ourselves. It's not a matter of what society is expecting because we've already have it ingrained in
Right.
us from our
Now,
grandparents, our mothers, our
Right.
aunties, all the women's in our lives.
Yes, most definitely. Now with that, we have to pause it because we're gonna just run ourselves to an early grave. Kimberly, you was about to say something. What was you gonna say?
Oh, I was agreeing with Phoenix that
Kimberly.
can you hear me?
Yes.
That it's like one of those
Yes.
things where when do we get to have that bad day? When do we get to say it's okay that we don't feel good today? Everybody looks at us as we supposed to carry it all the time. We don't break. We don't break down. We don't have a moment of peace or silence. Or, I mean, even at night, our minds run constantly. I can't be the only one who has sleepless nights because I'm constantly contemplating what's coming next, what I got to do tomorrow, what's got to happen next. You know, making sure everything is always on point and running. So we don't get to have those moments of I don't feel like dealing with it today. Someone else can pick that up because we're looked at as those people who kind of toe the line all the time.
And we're positioned to toe the line all the time, right?
Yes.
Like
And
I
then
said,
we
at work,
walk in
at
it.
home, in friend groups, and everything
Yes.
else. You know, we're positioned, and we accept it like willingly in the beginning, right? We accept it like it makes sense because those are part of the things that were ingrained in us that make us feel whole. Right? We were misled in thinking that all of those things that are supporting other people are what make us
Right.
whole, and that's actually not the truth, right? And try to change that mentality and that worldview and that personal view later on in life, because you know, for me and my my siblings and my aunts or whatever, you know, I noticed that it happens. It's over 40, right? That you start thinking about, wait a minute, this didn't make a whole lot of sense. Yes, it served its purpose in its time, right? I had to take care of my kids. I had to take care of my husband. I had to do this. But later on in life, we start thinking about, okay, what is it that serves me? You know, and then you start, but it's really hard to make that transition because it's so ingrained that you are, you know, positioned to toe the line for anyone and everything else, that it's hard to remove yourself and think that it's okay. And you're still a whole person if you don't have these dependencies on other people. If these people aren't dependent on me, am I still whole? You know, that's the question that you have to ask yourself in that transition. If my children aren't dependent on me, am I still whole? Am I still a good parent if my children don't have to call me for something? Absolutely. You know, that was something I had to ask myself.
Wow.
And the answer had to be absolutely. I
Wow.
don't need my children. I had to position them to not be dependent on me, because some of that relationship, that dependent relationship, is what makes you think, that gives you that regular validation that I am still a good parent. They grown. They good. I will see y'all when it's time. I'll call you on.
Come on.
It's all right. You know what I'm saying? It's okay for you not to have to pick
I
up
like
the phone
that.
and say, oh,
Yes,
mom, like you
yes.
see all those TikToks where, you know, you see the kid is 25, 35, whatever, they're at the doctor trying to make a doctor's appointment. And they're like, mama, what's my social? Mama, what's my, you know, and that,
Yes.
that dependent relationship is what, you know, are those things that validate that, yeah, I'm still in tune
That's my
with
daughter.
child. Yeah, I'm still a good parent. Yeah, that's still my child. You know, let's stop that. You know what I'm saying? That dependency relationship isn't really necessary because we're looking to create whole adults, right? So let's change that that narrative in our minds that if they're not calling me for something stupid, you know, and I'm saying all the minimal stuff, you know, the little, like my son called me to FaceTime today. It's how do I cook rice in a rice cooker? Sir, you are 21. Figure it out. You know what I'm saying? You could Google, YouTube, somebody got something, but you ain't have to call me. You know what I'm saying? Use those other resources. I will feel so much better if you use those other resources and don't call me and stop what I'm doing. It was literally not, it was like 10 minutes before this podcast. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, sir, today, he was like, and they're going to look, what you doing? Don't worry about what I'm doing over here. You know what I'm saying? So it's that dependent relationship and those small things that, you know, and that TikTok went viral for a reason because it's most of us are still doing it. Most of us are still placing value on that relationship, that dependency relationship that, you know, doesn't necessarily serve us. We have to disconnect and reevaluate what we find value in when it comes to those relationships. Do I find value in the fact that that my children are, you know, can do for themselves and know to call one another and can be dependent on one another before they call me? So when they call me together on FaceTime, I know, okay, y'all done tried to solve it.
They can't figure it out.
What's happening, right? What's happening? You know what I'm saying? Okay, now you need my experts. Okay, fine. No problem. Calling the expert. That doesn't, but you know, having them understand that I'm still here for you when you need me is different than call me for every little thing.
Yeah.
Because I need that dependent relationship. And I feed off of it. Wrong. I no longer feed off of that. You know what I'm saying? So as a parent, you know, and I was a young parent too. I was a teenage parent. So I grew up with my children as well. You know, so there's a transition that has to take place. And as Black women, we really have to learn and understand what that value is in those relationships. And that's across the board, in family, siblings, children, work, romantic, whatever. We have to learn and reevaluate where we put value in all of those relationships, because some of those things that have been ingrained in us, you know, we just kind of just still walking through.
Deep. Thank you for sharing that.
Muddling through.
Yes. That is so true. You know what? That could actually be a whole separate podcast episode about, you know, your children, your adult children still depending on you and how to wing them from you instead of winging them from the bottle or wing them from you. Now, what do y'all think about the how Black women are pictured in the media? What do you think about that? Is it a positive light for the majority or is it a negative light?
It is 100%.
Brandy, you haven't spoken? What you think? What's your thoughts on that for the media?
I guess it could be 50-50 because you got some Black women who, you know, we are entrepreneurs and we are like going to seek help and going to therapy and stuff like that. But you also got some that's just still like in denial on what it is or can't figure out what it is, can pinpoint what it is that's really wrong with them.
Okay. All right, Miss Rainey.
It is 100% negative. In it, they do it in they're still brainwashing, they're still perpetuating us a certain kind of way to make us look a certain kind of way. We don't have shows like the Huxtables. We don't have shows like back in the day where women were wives and they were soft-spoken, they were educated, they were raising their children, they were in the household with their husbands, they were, you know, now we have, if there are shows that women are married, it's drama. They're yelling, they're screaming, they're fighting amongst each other. It's all about so then they have changed so much to perpetuate us. We already know that it was already a lot of colorism that has to do with the media, movies, videos, everything. And then the hip-hop music and the music that sells the most depicts us as, we already know what they depict us as. They don't ever call us women. They don't never call us sisters. They don't never have us in, you know, anything that where that, you know, back when hip hop first came out, we were respected. We were, you know, we had other female artists that even respected each other. We were talked about in a positive light. Nowadays, We everything but women. We're everything besides queens. We're all of that. And now they're switching the music genre over into, okay, well, now we're letting more women into the because they're tired of the way men are representing us and themselves. But it's not a better. They're letting women in. That's not, the music isn't better, the videos aren't better, the shows are not better. We got Bad Girls Club, we got Love and Hip Hop, we have, what do we have? No, where is the positivity? There's nothing. Black women are the highest educated women in the world. Even the ones that have education and have businesses, they have to show that drama first. They have to show that fighting. Like, I really cannot name anything that really picks us as positive, as not angry, as soft, as not always fighting. And the thing is they make it to where we have to fight. So then there's like, oh, well, look, they're fighting, they're angry, they're doing this. Okay, they're educated, but they, but we want to see their bodies. We're still sexualized. We're still, because who controls it? It's not a bunch of women behind it. We're in the, okay, we can get on television, but you're not gonna, even with music, you're not gonna sell if you're not talking about sex. That's not gonna happen. They're not gonna promote you. You're only going, you're gonna be underground.
Come on.
The conscious music does not sell. You know what I'm saying? So the more that we look, and then you got
That
to
is so
realize
true.
our babies, that's what they see. So guess what? When we were growing up, think about it. There were no dark-skinned women on television. None. When they were in a negative light. They even, they said Halle Berry at one point in time was the most beautiful Black woman on the face of the planet. Okay, well, she's not even totally Black. So what does that say to you? So little girls looking at this, they're like, oh, I want to be like her. So that feeds more into keeping us separated. As long as we envy something that they put on a pedestal, and then they bring us down and make us feel, the family structure is completely gone. We don't have any type of they made us look at tribes as a negative thing, as ugly, as, okay, so all our people don't want to go to Africa. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to go because of the tribes. We don't understand. Y'all people wonder why we don't understand community, because y'all made it seem ugly when it was to us, but y'all had y'all communities. You know what I'm saying? And then we fight so hard to be around them and want to be like them, but we don't know what's going on with them so bad. Instead of us, once again, self-preservation, worrying about us, we're depicted horribly. Like, I can't name one show where there's a positive, some positive, where women are sitting down like us, sitting down talking, sitting down, sis, do you need some help? Sis, I'll come get your children if you need a break. Sis, let me say something to your children. Or the men coming in, oh, well, let me help you with your children. All we see is fighting and destruction and killing and women's bodies being sexualized. Where's the positivity? How is there so many educated Black women and then all we doing is fighting?
No, we're not. But that's what we see. All right, Kimberly, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I agree that
Kimberly?
yes, I agree that the way we're depicted right now in the media is more on the negative side. There's a lot of sexualization, and if it's not the sexualization, then we have to. What they do is they edit and show things that depict us as that angry woman who's always fighting, who's always yelling, who's always screaming, can't get along with friends, can't get along with family, can't get along with people at work, getting fired, whatever that is negative. Those are the things that seem to get pushed out into the media as who we are as Black women. And I was just having a conversation just the other day with another Black female about how this is ruining our children, because our children are watching this and think this is how we're supposed to behave. And so there it's cultivating that type mindset in our kids. And
Right.
that's definitely not what we want, but that's what they look up to, and that's what they strive to be. And so we have to definitely change how we're being viewed, to the world, because everybody feels like we are angry all the time.
I agree with that to an extent, because there's a
So
separation. Like I
true.
said, even when we
Mhm.
had TV growing up and you had the Huxtables or whatever, you knew that your family didn't have that level of money. You knew that there was a separation between me and TV. And I don't think that that's anything different than today, where, there's a separation, or there should be a communication within your household, within your family, that there's a separation between yourself, your reality, and what's on TV. I think that they're blurring the lines too much, and looking at it as if that's something that I aspire to, that's something that I can have, or that should be my life. But I mean, I do think there are some good TV shows out there. The Family Reunion is one of them, with Tia Mowry or somebody. But that's a good show. And it has the dynamics of they move back into the grandmother's house and the whole thing. But for me, I don't care what's on TV, because I mean, you can either look at the Little Mermaid or the Woman King. Either way, you're gonna get dealt with. And there's something that's here that there's a duality in all of us, and multiple facets of our personalities, that it's okay to depict a little bit of this here. There's a little bit of ghetto here. There's a little bit of, the word in St. Louis is bougetto, right? I'm a little bit bougie, I'm a little bit ghetto, and that's all right. I can accept and embrace all of that, because I don't have to be this model of what somebody depicted or decided I should be as a Black woman. I don't care what you think. I don't care. I don't feel like I have to subscribe to whatever it is that you perceive that I have to be at work. I mean, every time I get a new job, I wear different color hair every day, just because. Just because, like I did my interview with purple hair, walked in the next day with blue hair. I wear a
No,
grill on
you
the bottom
didn't.
sometimes.
What?
I am, if I'm the lead person in the room, who gonna track me, boo? It's one
Exactly.
of those things where,
Right.
and we have to
Exactly.
own that. We
That's
have to own that. We have to be in a position to own that. And for
Oh
me,
my
I do it
God.
just to be disrespectful, and simply because call somebody else in here. Have somebody else do what I do. Go find somebody else with a master's, with 13 certifications, with a PMP, with everything, with 30 years of experience. I done everything from analog all the way to today. So come on, stop playing with me. So if you can replace me, by all means, but I'm going to be comfortable in whatever I do
Woo,
when I
come
come in here
on,
to this meeting.
sis.
I'm gonna sit on Zoom with a grill. How y'all doing today? All right, y'all wanted me to be here. Got it. All right, all right.
Oh,
And it's one of those things. I need to, for my own sense of security, for my own sanity, be
That's
able
right.
to be comfortable in what I'm doing. Yes, I can perform the job, and I'm tired of trying to prove that I can do the job. We
Ex-
walk in.
that.
We walk
yes,
in with that
yes.
experience. We walk in with that knowledge. We walk in with those certifications. Check them. Check their resumes. They don't have the certifications and the degrees and everything else that we do. So let's stop walking in with that and then think that we still have something else to prove. Stop playing with me. Stop
Mhm.
I
playing with me.
I absolutely agree with
come on.
Phoenix on that.
Come
Like
on.
Yes.
I I I don't see
Yes.
what others see, because I make sure that my life is crafted to see what I want to see. To me, life is almost like my Facebook timeline or my social media timeline. If you're not on the vibe that I'm on, I can block you. I can, hide you or whatever. I this right here, I'll have hair one day and be bald the next. My first day on the Board of Education, I walked in with purple hair. When I campaigned, I had purple hair. I show up in chucks to business meetings. And when people comment on my hair, I always saying, if you're more concerned about what's on my head than what's in my head, the problem lies with you. I have 4 degrees, and I'm beyond the point of having to
Woo!
prove myself to anybody. I don't argue with no one about what I know. My mom used to
Look,
always say 3 things I don't argue about: my money and my Bible. And I always say 3 things I don't argue about: my money, my Bible, and myself. Nobody knows me like I know me. And if you watch me work, a tree is known by the fruit it produces. I don't I don't have a problem. And
Come on. Take
they
it to the
try to
king, honey. Take
portray us as competitive. I have no Black women in my life knowingly that hate me or I compete with. Even those that do the same thing that I do, I have no problem hyping them up. I have no problem. And they have no problem doing the same with me. I know what I know. And I have no problem correcting anybody on any misconceptions about me or other Black women. The problem is they expect women as a whole to be docile. And when we do speak up, then it's then we get the, oh, you're an angry Black woman. No, I just don't like what you did or said, and I'm correcting you on it. There's nothing about me that's angry. I'm just confident and as a matter of fact.
Absolutely.
Yes, yeah. I can
Absolutely.
totally relate
See,
to wearing
now
your hair whichever way you feel like wearing it. I
yeah.
remember when I first started doing real estate in Fayetteville, North Carolina, I was told that I could not have my green hair because people were not going to want to work with me. But my hair is not why you work with me.
Yep.
My
Come
hair
on.
color changes like the wind. My hairstyles change like the wind. But what I know up here stays the same. So I
Facts.
get that job done, and it don't worry about what my hair looks like today. You know.
But look at how
Come
long it
on,
took us
say
to get to
that.
that place. Look how long it
Yes.
took us to get to a place where we could have some sense of expression, whether it's our hair, whether it's our clothing. You know, like you said, when you wear Chucks to every meet, I got a whole lineup. I wear Chucks. I don't wear. I'm not gonna wear another heel. You know, that's my preference, right? But that's an expectation with certain things. If you walk in, they expect a certain attire, they expect a certain whatever. I'm no longer playing that game. But look how long it took us to get to that place where we can have even those micro expressions. You know, they got microaggressions, we got micro expressions
That's
of
right.
what we're doing to basically state our case. You know what I'm saying? Look how long that took.
And
Look how
Sheila,
long it will place in your life, right?
I'm sorry. And this is not to discount the women that still
Yeah.
have to deal with this. There's a level of freedom that comes from places that we're at right now in our lives. And I'm talking about the women on the panel. But this is not to say that there are still women out there that's having to deal with that, having to prove themselves, having to conform on the job to keep their job because they need their job. This is not to say that there are not women that are looked over because they look a certain way. You know, we have the freedom. And when you reach a certain level, we have the freedom to say, if those are the people, you judge me by the way I look, I don't want to work with you anyway. But there are women out there that still don't have that freedom. They have to wear the wigs because they can't wear their natural hair on the job. Because even though it's illegal, it is still that culture and the unspoken stuff. It's the unspoken microaggressions and the macroaggressions that happen. So this is in what we're speaking of is in no way to discount the women who still have to deal with that, the women who still are internally and externally fighting those battles of expectation of Black women.
Absolutely. And you know, I was active duty military as well. I
Yes.
was active
Now
duty army.
let me make this point.
And
Let
I
me
had to
make
do the
this
same
point
thing. Sorry,
because
Sheila. Mhm.
some some people may not understand because this podcast is all over the world. Some people may not understand what microaggressions are. Because microaggressions are, especially for African American women, we encounter microaggressions which are subtle but harmful comments and actions based on stereotypes. So they things that's just so small, and then you get a whiff of it and it's offensive. So a lot of people don't understand that. So when you hear microaggressions, and they come in different ways, they can be mega aggressions, micro, mini aggressions, but we deal with them every day as African
Every
American
day.
women, and it's how we take it. Say again.
I said every day. I just repeated every day.
What you say? Sean. Oh, yes, every day. So we have to understand that this is something that this is our lives, but we have to understand how to process it. Now, some of these ladies on these panels, y'all got it going on. Y'all know who you are. You can wear your different color hair. You can wear no hair. You can wear heels. You can wear no heels. You all know who you are. You got to that point, but it did not take you, it was not overnight. So I'm sure there had to be a process to get there, to say enough is enough. So for those ladies that are listening right now, whether you are African American, whether you're Hispanic, Latino, if you're a minority, please understand and start being more conscious of the microaggressions that you may hear and then how you deal with it. Because sometimes when you have that confidence, like some of these ladies are showing the confidence, sometimes confidence equals angry. Because you can be confident and you can be like, listen, I know who I am. Don't start clapping your hands, child. People gonna be like, oh, she was aggressive. I was scared for my life.
Absolutely.
And you're just trying to get the point across. Like, I get it because we are emotional. We are emotional. So when it comes to that, what do you say to the person that's saying, I want to be like you all. I want to be able to be free from this. I want to be able to be unapologetic myself, but keep my job. I want to know how to handle it in the workplace. I want to know how to handle it in the home. I want to know how to handle it just in society. What do you tell that person? How do they get there? How do they get there, guys?
For me, then that's something I was about to say a moment ago. For me, you know, the microaggression thing, you know, has always been part of my experience, being active duty military and everything else. You know, you're told what to wear, told what to do, blah blah blah, right? I had locks in the Army before it was authorized. I knew every word of 670-1. Yeah, and it wasn't that it wasn't authorized, it wasn't specified. So I still had them. I got pictures of me 20 some years ago in uniform with locks, right? But you know, I did a board, you know, you go to the board and you answer all the questions, blah blah blah. And then after you win, it was NCO of the year. And after you win, they put your picture all over post. So my sergeant major approached me and asked me to put on a wig to take the photo. Yeah, stop playing with me. So even in my early 20s, you know, dealing with all of those microaggressions, actual, yeah. Oh, you should see this photo with this wig on. It was a hot mess, and then I ended up tearing them down off the in the PX and whatever. Anyway, long story. But you know, even in my 20s, you know, going through all of those, you know, just dealing with things, dealing with different jobs, dealing with whatever. That's where it kind of gave birth to that micro expression thing that I started to experience. And it just little things that I could do to save my sanity in the moments, right? Whether it was something about my hair, something about my appearance, whether it was something about how I spoke, you know, because I live in St. Louis and they speak a little extra, everything, everything, you know, their dialect is a little. So sometimes I might throw that local slang on just to see, you know, who's going to react and respond or act like I'm any less intelligent because of how I choose to speak in the moment. You know, so it's just those little things. So somebody that's trying to get there or trying to go through the things that, you know, take notice, as much notice of the things that feel good to you and important to you, you know, take as much notice to that as the things that don't, because the things that you're noticing and you're experiencing, and you can say, when this makes me feel small or less than, pay attention and put that energy into things that make you feel whole in yourself and feel bigger. You know what I'm saying? So if a certain scenario allows you, you know, their intention is for you to feel small, find a way to feel big in that space. Yeah. Find a way to feel yourself and feel big in that space, and keep doing that. And once you make that a habit, that's how you get here.
Yep. I agree with Phoenix. I too was in the military. I was an MP, and that's a male dominated culture. And I got those little innuendos of, why don't you straighten your hair? Why don't you, and even with your weight, I'm like this. If you know, for me, one of the things that helped me get here is knowing policies and law. Knowing policies and procedures. Any companies that I contracted myself to, the first thing that I will absolutely do is learn their policies, their bylaws, their guidelines, their procedures, and the laws of that state and city that I was in. Because what you're not going to do is use my ignorance against me to do something. Also, find your joy. Those things, exactly what she said, those things that make you happy. For me, happiness is a moment by moment thing, but find those things that bring you joy. Joy doesn't come often in our lives. When you find those things that bring you joy, you got to do what you got to do to keep that joy. You got to learn how to use your voice. And it starts with little things. You know, it used to be Big Mama every time you walk in the house and, well, you don't push back from the table much, do you? It's those microaggressions about your weight that's her telling you you need to be skinny without her saying you need to be skinny. And it's responding to those microaggressions boldly. No, Big Mama, I ain't pushing back from the table because if your food wasn't so good, I wouldn't want to eat. It's a
Something.
lot of times for me is humor. Disarming people with humor. A lot of times I tell people, I'm not as dumb as I let you believe I am. Or I have to tell people all the time because people can get comfortable with you. Don't let these lies fool you. Don't let these lies fool you. You got to find those things in your life. It starts with little victories because little victories adds up to be big victories. Our siblings say something out of the way. Speak up. Our aunties say something out of the way. Speak up. And then especially in the Black family, you don't talk back to your elders. You don't say nothing. They just say whatever they want to say, and we supposed to just swallow it. You gotta be bold. You gotta be crafty in how you do it. You gotta snap back without being disrespectful. So it's just little things you can do. Find your joy, and in that joy in the moment, recognize what you did to have that joy, and fight to hold on to it.
I love it. Anyone have to say anything on that? How can someone get to the next space that brings that confidence that can deal with this syndrome? That's listen. Can you imagine if it was documented in the help books? Can we get a check for this?
Okay.
You're waiting a long time.
Give me
for
my
that.
check for blank angry black. Now there Now there are for those of you who are not in this category as far as you're not a black woman or minority, you can be an ally. You can understand what we're referring to, and when you hear the microaggressions, you can do something about it. You can stop it. You can stand up to it. It's no different than when you was in school and somebody was bullying. You can speak against the bully. So you can be an ally for us and say enough is enough. When they make little smart remarks, or I was in the store one day and there was a Mexican guy, and then the cashier said something smart mouth, and it was so ugly and negative, and it was stereotypical. And he looked at me to laugh, and he looked at me as if I was going to laugh, and I was like, that wasn't funny. I stood up to him because that wasn't funny. Because when I leave out, he probably going to say something about me as well. So you as a person on the other side can actually stand strong and make a difference and be that ally and be colleagues or your family that is making these comments and these stereotypical remarks. It's just ridiculous. But at the end of the day, I'm so excited you all are here. Listen, if you could just get ready to wrap up your last comments, anything that you want to say, encouragement, or anything that you have that you want to leave the audience with, something that they can take away. And while they're thinking about their closing remarks, guys, I want to thank you for tuning in today to the Sheila C. Hill Show. Please subscribe, like, and share. Listen, this is just part one. We're going to bring part two coming up, and we're going to have another panel of guests coming as well. But this is something that really needs to be at the forefront. This is something that you need to hear these individual stories to understand that this is a problem. We have to understand that this has been going on for years and years at a time, but one person can make a difference. And if you want to see the change, be the change, okay? You have to educate yourself and understand that there is a problem. Woo! Listen, thank y'all for showing up today. I tell you, this is wonderful. All right, we're going to close it out. Miss Brandy Williams, what's your closing marks for our audience on today?
Yes, ma'am. I'll just say most definitely stay close to God. Get close to God if you're not with Him. I'm 29, and I've been going. I had a crazy life, and I'm just now like kind of getting on a good path since I was like 25. So definitely, I couldn't have did it without God and standing up for myself and um just like the other ladies were saying, like I could relate to a lot of things. Like I was just soaking in all the information. Like it was a little overwhelming because I haven't been around other like women like minded, and I don't have friends where we like had these conversations, or if we do, it don't be no relation. We can't really relate. So I'm happy to be on this panel to relate to some of you ladies, and I definitely say stay close to God and stand up for yourself. And, you got to break that silence. I was silenced for a long time because I was scared to talk. I was scared to, like say stuff because I was scared I would get hit or scared that just would nobody understand me. So I would hide it by joking. Just, I was always a jokester growing up. I always cracked jokes, but it's like when I became a mother of my own and had my children, I knew I wanted to go down a different route. So I definitely just say stay close to God, stay prayed up, and stand up for yourself because you are black and you are beautiful.
Come on now. I love it. I love it. Thank you for the panel, Brandy. Listen, and you can always reach out to the sisters on the panel if you need that accountability, if you need that conversation. Listen, I know these ladies will love to impart. All right, we have someone else. Who else want to go next? What's your closing remarks?
I can go.
I, oh, go ahead.
I can go. With my closing remarks, I
Go,
just
let's get it.
when it comes to for Black people or women of color, I will say first, I would love to stress therapy, 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 therapy. I don't care who you are, what you've been through, therapy. On top of therapy, shadow work. Look up the definition of shadow work. Start there because a lot of things that's going on with you, you don't even understand. You need extra help to understand what you're going through. It's an individual thing. It can be a whole thing, but you got to start with you. Learn self-preservation. We're not taught that. You have to have that. You have to be okay with you. You have to get all right mentally, physically, emotionally, okay? Um, Diet and exercise. We have to learn that. A lot of our people do not have proper diet and exercise. It has a lot to do with our mental health. We don't understand some of the things that's going on with us. Also, find your tribe. If you don't have positive people, at a certain point of life, if you see that there's a lot of drama around you, your friends, your family, your mother, a lot of people's mothers, fathers are full of drama, have a lot of mental health issues as well. If it does not feel good to you, exit stage left. Find your tribe. There are women support groups out there. There are women who are supportive, who are positive, who can show. Find you a mentor. Find you a coach. You may have to pay for it, but whatever it is, go looking for what's for you. You need to have your own village. You don't need to wake up angry every day and feel like you have to argue and be around a lot of people who stop allowing people to put their trauma onto you. Some of us are empaths, so everything that the people that are next to you, you absorb that, and it's not for you. A lot of times, the people that are
Ooh,
around you,
come
things
on.
that they are doing, you can catch their karma. You can be in the way. You understand? It's not always your karma. They say, why do bad things happen to good people? You could be around the wrong people. You got to understand how to say, no, that's not for me. Set your boundaries. All this will come with therapy and shadow work. You understand? Meditation. You got to go outside in the sun, absorb that sun. You have to try to find a positive space for yourself. And sometimes it takes being isolated. I know we love to hurry up and we need somebody and have to be in a relationship. A lot of people are like that. Not everybody, but a lot of people are like that. No, you need you. You need to work on you. You need to fix you. Go to God, seek out your village, get you some therapy, and start working alone, because it's not for somebody else to do. Absolutely not. Eliminate anything that's negative. You want nothing but positivity, because you can't get where you want to go if you in a negative space. So I would tell anybody, start there. And trust me, God gonna make everything work. If it's you on a job that you don't like, quit it. It sounds hard, but it ain't. It's not. It's not that hard.
Gotta have faith.
They didn't stop making jobs. They didn't start making businesses. They didn't. But there's only one you. You understand what I'm saying? Absolutely not. If they don't appreciate you, go where you're appreciated. Walk away. But sometimes it takes people to go through therapy, because we're so many different personality types. We come from different backgrounds. We have certain different things that make us unique. And whatever makes you unique, you need to figure that out, and you need to work on you, because we keep on pointing fingers. Y'all know how we do. We want to point fingers at the men this, the men that. Honey, it's you. You got to work on you, fix you. Don't worry about nobody else until you work on you. And I close out with that.
Thank you very much for being a part. That was awesome. Woo! Thank you very much. Woo! Okay, Kimberly, what do we have for our closing remarks? Oh my goodness, that was dope.
Oh, in close, I would like to say that we, as Black women, we are varied, and we are varied people, and we have emotions that are valid. We are allowed to feel what we feel and express what we feel without the judgment of expressing what we feel. We should not be judged because we're having a bad day. We shouldn't be judged for having a breakdown, because we needed to express and get some things out. We shouldn't be looked at as weak, and those kind of things are things that we are trying to change the mindset of the people are about. What we are as Black women are strong. We are opinionated sometimes. We have a voice, and we need to use our voice and teach people how to treat us. I am one of those people that I get told a lot that I'm hard to read. Kind of going back to what Phoenix said about being stoic and having to keep everything in all the time. That's me. I'm that girl. And so I can get to be a little hard to read, and having to express those emotions can come out in ways that people may perceive as angry, but we're not all angry. All of us aren't angry people. And we just need the world to realize that we are people too that have emotions, and we have that right to express them and not always be sad that we're an angry person.
Most definitely. Most definitely. Thank you very much. Woo, for being on. All right, Phoenix, your closing remarks. Y'all are some dope ladies. I tell you, I love it.
Thank you. I have really enjoyed our conversation today. But in closing, I would say prioritize your peace. And I know that's a journey for a lot of people. I mean, it has been for me, and that's something that I preach, to my children from a much earlier age than that reality came to me, right? But prioritize your peace, prioritize your prosperity, and prioritize just yourself, right? But one thing I'd like to note is the angry Black woman stereotype, or trope, or whatever you want to call it. If it serves you in some way, to say that I'm an angry Black woman, whatever that way is, whatever that thing is, whatever that moment is. If it serves you in some way, by all means have at it, because I don't care. It doesn't affect me. I'm not going to allow it to, my impenetrable being is not going to allow that to affect me. So if that's what you have to say, and if I lost this job because you said I was an angry Black person, or if this relationship ended because you said I was an angry Black woman, that's okay. That was just the mechanism to get you out the way. So I'm okay with it. To be honest, if that's what you need, if that's what you got to do, knock yourself out. It's not going to affect or stop my path of what it is that I'm trying to do. So thank you. And thank you for listening. Thank you for the conversation today. And I really appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on, Phoenix. I appreciate it. Oh my gosh. All right, Shonda, y'all are so dope. Oh my gosh. Okay, your closing remarks, ma'am.
4 sentences: rest, heal, find your voice, learn who you are. Those things will absolutely change your life. Rest is a birthright. God rested. Rest is not something you have to earn. Healing changes every aspect of your life. Finding your voice. How do you speak up? What are those things that matter to you? Is it important that people see you in a certain way for you? And learn who you are. You're going to change throughout your life. As you begin to change, learn your hard boundaries, your hard foundations, those things that absolutely don't change about you. Be flexible, be fluid, and just know that how society sees you is no more important than how you see yourself. And thank you for the show, Steela. It was absolutely amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. That was some major gems. Thanks for being a part, Shonda. Listen, these gems that you all dropped and these real life experiences that you heard and the empowerment that these ladies showed from different varieties of their life, different times in their life, different parts of the country. Listen, at the end of the day, we all face the mad Black woman syndrome. It's about how you deal with it. Don't let it define who you are. And understand that if there was something that resonated with you, please do the self-work. Please take time to not cover it up. Please take time to focus on yourself and understand that you are worth it. Listen, thank you for joining. And if no one has told you today that you are loved and highly appreciated, guess what? You are loved and highly appreciated. Thank you for showing up today. Like, subscribe, and share. And if you have some feedback about this episode or any idea that you have another episode, listen, go on the SheilaCHillshow.com and we'll love to hear from you. Love to hear from feedback. So until next time, let's go. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's go. Until next time on the Sheila C. Hill Show. We love you. Take care. Have a blessed day. All right, ladies, that's going to end that.